feel free to do that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So for those of you who haven't done this before, welcome. Appreciate you joining. And okay, good. Thanks, Sean. So this is pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A button beneath me to ask whatever questions you have, and I will do my best to answer them. If you want to have more of like a conversation about something, it's not a direct question, I can unmute your mic and we can have a conversation. So we will just get started. All right, so this first question is from Daniel. Is it possible to restore the whole website to a backup point without losing MemberMouse data like members, sales, and so on? No, it's not possible to do that. And this isn't so much of anything to do with MemberMouse as it is to just understand the concept of a backup and really how a transactional system works, like any e-commerce system. My answer is the same, and it's going to be the same for any product where you're dealing with users who are working on your site that are doing anything transactional, whether it be orders or comments or stuff like that. So if you have a backup point at the beginning of the month between, or even yesterday, depending on how much traffic is going on your site, between now and then, there have been other things that have happened on the site. For example, especially with an e-commerce system like a MemberMouse site or a membership site, somebody makes a purchase, an account is created, the new member does some things, they access certain pages, etc. So all of those events have data that's stored in a database that help to keep track of that. There's all the rows in the database associated with the fact that they made a purchase. There's all the rows in the database table that have to do with them creating a member account, which includes their username and their password. There's the rows in the log tables that have to do with tracking their activity. So say that between your last backup point and now, X number of members have made, X number of people have purchased on your site and become members. If you back up to the previous backup point, all of that data is lost, right? That's not a good situation, right? Because you've lost all the purchase data and you've also lost all of the account data. So now you're going to have to manually recreate those accounts, probably due to people emailing you in saying they purchased something and they now can't get access to your site, et cetera, et cetera. You can see how this plays out. You really should only ever be dealing with backups on a website that has transactional data if it's an extreme emergency and that's the only thing that you could potentially do. Your business is destroyed if you don't do that. But if it's some other scenario, you will always want to think 5 times before you pull from a backup. Okay, this question is from Lee. Hey Brett, welcome. How do I register someone into a LearnDash course after they make a purchase? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not familiar with LearnDash as a product. If LearnDash has an integration with us, I would say the place to look for the answer to that question is to first check out their documentation on an integration with us. The second way is, if that doesn't tell you the answer, to reach out to their support. Just based on how you phrase the question, how do I register someone into LearnDash after they've made a purchase through MemberMouse? The question is in regards to LearnDash, not MemberMouse. So it seems like it would be better focused as a question to their support team. Sean, I run a business directory that has a membership and training component to it. but it is currently hacked together with different products and plugins, and I'm looking to centralize everything without custom dev work. Can MemberMouse be used to allow customers to update their public directory profile data using custom fields in the portal, and then my developer can use hooks to connect the MemberMouse to my front end? So you can certainly use MemberMouse in this situation. What I'm contemplating is your specific question regarding public directory profile data and using custom fields. Depending on what this custom data is and what you're attempting to be using it for, MemberMouse might not even be involved in this. And here's why. So MemberMouse integrates with the WordPress user system, and there are WordPress plugins that are specifically designed to deliver member directory functionality. So because MemberMouse integrates with the WordPress user system and plugins that implement member directory functionality are working off the WordPress user system, you can use one of those plugins in conjunction with MemberMouse to get that behavior. And that would be the best way to do it, because MemberMouse isn't delivering that behavior. What MemberMouse is doing is facilitating the purchase and everything that goes along with that, managing the subscription, managing access to content based on what was purchased, allowing you to provide customer support to those people through the backend resources, a whole number of other things. And it doesn't deliver the memory directory functionality. And the reason is because there are plenty of WordPress plugins that do this as their sole focus, and therefore they're the best people to be doing that job because they're focusing on it 100%. So likely your solution will look like that. You will have a member directory plugin that handles showing your profiles on the site, and members will update their profile data through that. And you will also use MemberMouse to facilitate getting people into the system in the first place by making a purchase or signing up for a free membership or something like that. And none of that should take any custom development because you're simply using products off the shelf, right? And because MemberMouse and the member directory plugin will integrate by way of they both work with the WordPress user system, there shouldn't be any custom development necessary to make those work together. Okay, this next question is for Brett, from Brett. Before I get to that, follow-up question from Sean. Makes sense. We currently use UsersWP plugin for users. So it sounds like we can tie MemberMouse to UsersWP and allow our customers to manage all of their payment profiles, et cetera, in MemberMouse. So as soon as you start talking about payment, I don't consider that part of member directory data. When I think of member directories, it's basically like, I call it fluff data, but that's simply because of the perspective of my world where we deal with the entire e-commerce aspect of this. Anything dealing with payment, credit card billing, anything that has to do with a member's access rights, to me, that's the data that is core data important to what MemberMouse needs to do to function. So all of that will be taken care of for MemberMouse. Profile data to me is more like, you know, what's your job title, where are you located, who are your customers that you're serving, what's your name. Well, name is covered by MemberMouse too, but neither here nor there. Like member directory information is more publicly visible information that other members of the community will be viewing and interested in. So I'm not sure what UsersWP does, but it doesn't sound like it's specifically delivering member directory functionality. And it might not be the plugin that you use in conjunction with MemberMouse to take care of this thing. Okay, so this next question is from Brett. Thanks for hosting such a great forum, and thanks for the great product. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Glad you're appreciating it. I've been evaluating a few membership plugins, and so far, yours is the best thought out, great interface, etc. But I've run into two major obstacles I'm hoping you can help escalate. We also run WooCommerce and GiveWP for other aspects of our site, and both have Stripe plugins. We've even used Tickera with their Stripe as well. None of them have a conflict, but when activating MemberMouse, all of a sudden your plugin kicks back fatal errors because it's programmed using the same function names as another plugin, and they conflict. Tech support keeps incorrectly telling me that more than one Stripe plugin can't run at the same time, but all these other plugins work fine with separate Stripe integrations. We'd love to get this escalate to be fixed so we can use MemberMouse. So sorry to hear that you're running into that issue. I can tell you right now that what you're experiencing, the fact that MemberMouse is conflicting with other plugins in terms of other plugins implementing Stripe as well, is not something that we're going to fix. The directive would be, okay, we'll stop using plugins that also are using Stripe, because the WooCommerce one, it shouldn't be an issue. We have tons of clients who use WooCommerce, and there are no problems with that integration. So I'm not sure why you're running into issues there. GiveWP, not sure exactly how they're implementing their situation. But yeah, re-architecturing, unfortunately, the situation is unfortunate given that you want to use MemberMouse, but re-architecting our software specifically so it works in the configuration that you're trying to run it in, unfortunately is not going to make sense for us to do anything about. When we look at how we prioritize the things that we address from a development perspective, we have to consider all the thousands of people using MemberMouse, right? And currently, this isn't an issue that all of our other customers are having. This isn't an issue that we hear about people having. So yes, in your situation, it's very unfortunate that this doesn't work the way that you're looking to have things work. But from our perspective, this isn't something that we can invest development resources in to change how we've architected our system such that it works with the specific plugins and environment that you're trying to use. So unfortunately, that's the answer. And if that means that MemberMouse won't work for you, then that's, this happens all the time, right? The nature of the situation, and I've learned this over the decade that I've been doing this, the nature of being a WordPress plugin is a recognition of the fact that our plugin runs in an environment with any number of other plugins that anybody can install. And we do our best to make sure that we are not creating conflicts with other plugins that a majority of our customers want to be using, such as Elementor, other theme building plugins, etc. But if we learn this lesson early on, if we go around trying to make our stuff work for all the edge cases of people using all the different types of plugins that are out there, tens of thousands of different plugins, it's just, I think you can see, it's just not feasible or possible for us to do that. So we have to, unfortunately, draw these boundaries. And sometimes that means, unfortunate for us, we want to be able to help people. We want people to be able to use a product, but we do have to draw that line. And this is one of those situations where there's nothing that we can do about this. Of course, that's not accurate. There's, of course, something we could do about it, right? We could take this very specific scenario and load up the plugins that you're talking about into our dev environment and make it work specifically for that environment. But there's really no, other than the fact that you want it, there's no other thing pointing to that being something that we would do. So unfortunately, what support is telling you, maybe, they're not going to describe it correctly in terms of the technical reasons why that might work, so maybe it's incorrect, maybe it's not. But the end result is you know, we're not going to re-architect MemberMouse to make it work in that type of situation. So, you know, I think, yeah, that's, unless you have a follow-up question, that's basically all I can say about that. Do I have to use a bundle? Lee is asking, do I have to use a bundle instead of a product for an upsell? You need both. Products are the things that are purchased. Bundle is the thing that grants access. So the product is associated with the bundle. So when the product is purchased, the bundle is applied to the account, and the bundle is what's used to protect content. So you need both. Okay, this next question is from Carl. Give me 1 second here. We have upsells in our funnel, and we're considering adding gifting. If someone buys a product, they're presented with an upsell product. What happens when that product is a gift? If the purchaser buys the upsell, does the gift recipient receive that gift too? The gift recipient is the only one that receives the gift, right? So if somebody purchases something as a gift, the access is not applied to their account, right? They basically, there's 2 steps to purchasing a gift. One is actually purchasing the gift, and the second is actually sending the URL to the recipient so that they can claim the gift. Once they've claimed the gift, an account is created and the access is applied to their account. So if purchaser buys the upsell, does a gift? Yeah, so the purchaser doesn't get the access unless they purchased it as well as not being gift. So hopefully that answers your question. But specifically, in order for something to be a gift, when somebody's buying it on the checkout page, they need to check off that it's a gift. So in whatever your design is on your checkout page, you need to be clear that where people can identify that it's a gift that's being purchased and not something for themselves. Okay, so I think we got through all the questions. Is there anything else that people have before we jump off here? So going back to this gifting question, your follow-up questions, you're asking if they bought the upsell, would that also be applied as a gift? The fact that it's an upsell has nothing to do with whether it's a gift or not. The thing that determines an upsell is simply, don't think of it as upsell in terms of process as something that's purchased. We call, the upsell determines what is displayed to somebody after they purchase a specific product. So if I buy this product and you've defined that somebody should be shown a particular page after they purchase that product, we call that an upsell page, simply because that's the process that we think about it as in marketing terms. One page shown to somebody after they purchase something is an upsell page. If you have an offer on that page that somebody chooses to buy, we call it an upsell product, but we're simply just labeling it as an upsell. But at the fundamental level, all it is that they're purchasing a product. So when they go to purchase that product, as long as they check it off that it's a gift being purchased, then it will be a gift. If they don't check off that it's a gift, then it won't be a gift. It'll be applied to the person's account that's being purchased. What makes something a gift or not has nothing to do with whether it's offered on an upsell page, offered on your member dashboard, or anywhere else on your on the members area. It's when they're going to purchase it, do they check off and indicate that that's a gift? That has to be done by the person purchasing. As long as they do that, it'll be a gift, and then they'll get the link that they can send to whoever they want to redeem that gift. Okay, well, I think that's it for now. I appreciate you all joining, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.